It's
Maybe
just
I just
another
had it.
cluster. It's not one of the clash
Oh,
clusters, but it's just another cluster, just to showcase how
oh,
wonderful they
that.
are. And typically, as Dan can tell you in much more detail than I can, these clusters have a central, very massive galaxy,
Mm, right.
very large elliptical galaxy, for example, in this case. And so, I guess one of the questions I would have for you then is, it's interesting how you basically say it's like a puzzle, because I think it really is, right? You have to sort of
Right.
guess what the geometry of the dark matter is doing, in order to reconstruct the lens. So how hard is the process really?
Right, and just to say, this is the first clash cluster we observed, and it seems to
Ah,
pop up when
there
you're
you
talking, so it's as if our galaxy cluster is talking to us, which is great.
go.
So we see these lensed images, and we see, in most of the clash clusters, we see about, so we see maybe, 8 or 10 galaxies that are being lensed, and we identify these multiple images, and we have to distribute the dark matter mass. And now we see you scrolling through. Just so we have to
Do I?
distribute that. We have to distribute that mass in the galaxy cluster, all in all the right places, in order to deflect the light from the background galaxies around, and so we see them in the right places. So it is like a big puzzle. Um, and so the dark matter, it pretty much follows the distribution of the visible galaxies that we see, and those are the yellow galaxies in these images, and they're yellow because they're more like the color of our sun. They're sort of, there's a lot of average looking stars in those galaxies, and if they were, when they start out and they're younger, they burn bright blue, and then when they're middle aged, they burn yellow, and then later on they might burn more red. And there's also a thing called redshift that can make them look red that we'll talk about.